you all seen the Julia Fox, Marlon Wayans moment?
I think the youth needs to hear what real men are. I think there's there's
But what
masculinity.
are real men?
Right.
So it goes on like that for a while with her interrupting him over and over again. Now, before I get into my argument, because there's things I want to say, and this is going to be a touchy subject, I need to remind white women of something. Whilst you guys were having that conversation about being alone in the woods and would you rather be with a man or a bear, and you all were choosing the bear, totally understandable, there was a different discussion happening underneath that, which was with black women who were saying, you're stuck alone in the office. Who would you rather be with, a white woman or a white man? They chose the white man every single time. And I think part of it lives in this interaction, and part of it lives in the response to this interaction. Marlon, with all of his age, with all of his patience and experience, is speaking calmly and reflectively about masculinity, about what it means to be a man. And so in this moment, when Julia Fox keeps interrupting him, I think it's important to state that she's making a really good point. Like, she's making a truly good point, but she is cutting him off again and again. What's interesting, though, are the comments, because the comments are incredibly supportive of this action, of him being interrupted. And I get it. There's something cathartic about watching a woman interrupt a man, especially for women who have been constantly interrupted by men their entire lives, whether it's at work, whether it's in their marriage, whether it's in their family, whether it's with their friendships. I understand that feeling, I do. But from my perspective, and I think the perspective of a lot of people of color, I'll say this very plainly. All I see is another black person shrinking because a white person keeps talking over them. This is where intersectionality sort of falls apart, right? Because we talk about patriarchy and the power of patriarchy as if it all moves in one direction, right? But the truth is, power doesn't disappear just because the gender changes. Sometimes it morphs and shifts. And in so many spaces, white women have learned to wield that power in the way that the men that they have been around know how to do as well. Black men and black women often say the words, sorry, I wasn't finished, or can you not cut me off? And there's often a recoil that happens with white women and white men, as if us demanding our space is seen as an attack on you. And so because of that, we learn to shrink, just like Marlon does in this interview. I'm just saying, celebrating this as some sort of gender victory without acknowledging the really weird racial dynamic, but also just that it was really rude that she was interrupting like that, is disingenuous. I've lived that moment where I am being constantly interrupted, and then the moment I try and have something to say and interrupt myself, I get taken apart. It's as if my masculinity frames the whole thing in such a way that it allows you to avoid dealing with that racial component, right? This argument about gender becomes this big shield so you can sidestep the work that you have to do with regards to race. So when I see people celebrating her for interrupting him, I get it, I really do. But I still think you're missing something. I still think you're missing such a crucial, important racial component to that discussion. I don't just see a woman standing her ground. I see another white woman talking whilst a black person was trying to. I've been Marlon Wayans here. I know lots of men and women that have been Marlon Wayans in this situation. And it happens constantly.